Hello, and welcome back to Loon Lovers Live with Pierre Thériault, the Post Production Supervisor for Heated Rivalry. In this part 2 of our conversation, we talk about how the post-production landscape has changed since he began in the business, along with when he first realized that Heated Rivalry could be a really big deal. We also talk about some Easter eggs that you may have not seen in the show. Stay tuned for more. As a software designer myself, I have seen firsthand how fast things change in the computing world as I fight with AI every day. How has the editing process changed over the years in post-production?
Oh my God. It's funny. When I started back in 1988, there was something about, hold on, my computer is asking me if I want to update something.
Oh, no.
It's not the right
It's at
time.
the wrong time, yeah.
Speaking of computers.
So no, sorry. When I started back in 1988, people were shooting on film. We're pulling what we called a work print, which was a positive 35 millimeter print. Sound was on a separate 35 millimeter magnetic track, and you would cut physically the film and tape it together.
Oh my God.
But that's how movies were made.
Yeah.
You had a machine called a Steenbeck, and you could see your image on a screen which had it was basically a projector, so you could see the film itself, or you pull it up to the light and you see the frames, 24 frames per second. And sound was on a separate thing, and editors would look at the material and mark with a grease pen and say, this shot I'm going to go from here to there, and then you want from this shot to go there to there, and they would cut it and hang it onto a bin, and the film was just like dropping down. It was just like, and then they would grab and put the pieces together and watch it. And say, oh, okay, I need another shot here, and they would open the tape and just replace it, and that's how movies were edited back in the day. It would take months. In 1989, I had the honor of working with a supervising editor that came from Los Angeles. He came to help supervise the editing of a film that was being done in Montreal. And when he came in, he was an older gentleman. His name is Ralph Winter. There was no internet back in the days. So he comes in, I shake his hand. Was pretty much the only one who could speak English at the time in the team. So I became his buddy to go for lunch. And I was kind of his assistant editor. And he was editing on film while we were editing on video. And after a couple of days, we go have lunch, and I asked him. I said, "What the hell are you doing here? It's cold. It was early winter. You're from LA." And when he came in, he had sneakers on. It was like snow outside, and he's kind of laugh it off, and he goes, "Well, I've been an editor for a long time, and I had nothing better to do, so I just wanted to help out." I go, "Okay, what have you done?" He goes, "Well, I did all the Pink Panthers with Peter Sellers. I did The Party. I did something that you may have seen called Ben-Hur."
Oh my God.
And I fell there, like my legs went numb. I was looking at him and go, "You edited Ben-Hur? And he's like, "Yeah." Get the like, I couldn't believe it. And we started talking about Ben-Hur. And to me, I had in front of me the editor. The guy who wrote the book about edit, like Ben-Hur was insane. And I said, "So, okay, the chariot race, how long did it take you?" He said, "Oh, I think that we had 5 or 6 editors at the time. I was a supervising editor, but I think it was 3 months. It was
3
once.
months.
I went, all right, okay, we're not in the same business, dude. And while he was in Montreal, Ralph turned 80. And he passed away probably like 10 years later or something. But he was just the sweetest guy. And so, yeah, he was editing on film. Like, that was it. He was, like, cutting together. And we were editing on video. The film was transferred to video. We were editing on video. He was faster than us.
Wow. I mean, with
It was,
that much
it
experience.
was just like this, there, flick, 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 flick. And it was like, yeah, here's your scene. And we're like, okay.
That's cool.
And he was, it was amazing. So back to your question. So sorry. So back in the days, it was all film. When I started, I was hired as an assistant editor because video was becoming a way of editing films.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to transition with everybody else. I had to at the lab. I had to transition from the good old-fashioned way of cutting film and doing this new technique of using video. And then a few years later, Avid came about, which was a digital editing system. So there was no tape anymore. And then there was another system called Lightworks. So in the 90s, it became all digital. Mm-hmm. No tapes was used. The material was transferred to tape, and then tape was digitized. And we were editing completely from hard drives. Mm-hmm. My first Avid I worked on had 3 gigabyte hard drives. We had 2 of them.
Not a lot.
We had 2 of them, and they were like I don't know, a foot long, and they were weighing like 15 pounds, and it was 3 gigabytes, and we were insane. It was crazy. Like 3 gigabytes, Jesus, this is amazing. And then in the same casing, it went to 9 gigabytes, and we said, "This is it. We'll never need more." Now my phone has like 512 gigabytes.
Right.
Yeah.
But back in the day, Avid was really cool, and we could see that it was going to change the editing world. We could feel it. So we were there at the beginning. We, like people my age, doing this work, and we saw the beginning of the digital editing. And then we saw in 2005 and more, started shooting digital with high enough resolution that it could cheat the human eye.
Oh, wow.
And think that on a big screen you're looking at something that was shot on film. And this has improved more and more and more. VFX was the world changed mid 80s with The Abyss, with Jurassic Park, with like all the movies that started like putting in visual effects, digital visual effects. We had a company in Montreal called Buzz. We did a movie called Screamers, where we had digital matte paintings transferred to film, and it was like everything was happening, and I was lucky enough to be there as it was happening.
That's so cool.
And then HD. I remember watching. I have a clear memory of watching my first HD image on a HD monitor, which was like 8 inches by 8 inches. It was a small monitor, and just looking at it, and my brain could not figure what was happening.
Wow.
I was standing 6 inches from the screen going, wow, lines, what's going on? And then HD became 2K and 4K and 6K and blah, blah, blah. But everything, as soon as when we flipped over to all digital and movies started being shown from a digital file, it was like it's every week something new comes up, and with especially for VFX, and especially with AI, as you were mentioning, now it's crazy. We can do anything. And I'm sure you've seen videos of like a fight between Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise on a roof. That was like it went viral, and for the 99% of the population, it's like, yeah, they shot this scene. You cannot tell
Yeah.
more.
It weirded me out.
And it's funny because in my line of work, those tools are really exciting because we can fix so many things. But then there's a moral aspect to it or an ethical aspect to it,
Right.
which is, and I have to remind myself that there's an ethical part of it because my brain is the brain of a 14-year-old film buff. And everything that comes up is like, oh, this is so exciting. We can do this, we can do that, or we can. But then you go, wait a second. There's a human being involved, and we can cheat it. Wait a second. There's so I can understand why artists, actors, and musicians are losing it.
Yeah.
Way back when Napster came out, I don't remember if you remember Napster.
I do remember Napster.
But when Napster came out, and it's like, I can get any music I want for free. And like people were joining in everything. And then somebody said, wait a second, something's wrong.
Yeah.
And now we're reliving the same thing with AI where you can do whatever you want. It's going to be a challenge for the new generation to figure out what's real and what's not. It's crazy.
Yes. It's very scary.
I'm sorry.
That's
has
okay.
nothing to do with production, but it's it's a tricky thing. But there are some tools out there that are really exciting to save. Especially in sound. I was listening to, we recorded for a movie, we recorded outside on the street, we recorded like wild sound, like people walking, and there was a few stores where they were playing music outside. I cannot use the music that they were playing outside because we don't have the rights.
Right.
So I said, I guess we're going to have to redo it. And one of our editors, sound editors, said, give me a second. And he used a filter that found the music and removed it without affecting the sound of the street and the human presence and the cars and everything. And he just removed the music and said, so we can use that. It was like, it's something, maybe it's a bit exaggerated, but I think 6 months ago it was like unimaginable.
Yeah.
And now you just press a button. Okay. So it's crazy. So there are things that are happening that are really useful, that help the creative process. But at the same time, if you really want to be a bad person, what you can do now and fool people is insane.
Scary.
Sorry.
No, this like I said, this is fascinating.
Yes.
You're so sweet. You are so sweet.
So our next question, while working on this project, could you tell that Heated Rivalry was something special? For instance, did you see yourself at a bookstore for a chat with fans for this show or on a podcast because of something that you did?
It's interesting. As I mentioned earlier, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I didn't know Rachel Reed. Kind of ashamed of it now, but it's not something that I'm bragging about. But no, I didn't know anything about that the type of romance literature. I wasn't aware of Rachel. I wasn't aware of Game Changer or Heated Rivalry or anything. So when we started, I was reading the scripts, and I went, okay, it's a show, and it's going to be a lot of nudity. Okay. When the show started picking up, and I think maybe I'm wrong, and you probably know this more than me. I think after episode 1 and 2, there was a good buzz. Mm-hmm. After episode 3, I think it was it.
Yes.
And 4, 5, and 6, Hudson and Connor went from being unknown to not being able to walk out of their homes.
Yes.
And so when it started, and because I'm not on social media or anything, in the morning I get up, and as I'm having breakfast, I look at YouTube and I see, and then I started seeing stuff about Heated Rivalry. Of course, I started watching it, and because I did that, the algorithm started presenting more and more. And at one point, it was just like, what the hell? There's nothing else in the world. But then you get a sense of, oh my God, this is something special. I've heard that some people got a chair tattoo that you can even imagine because of the chair dragging.
Did they?
So when you think about it, you say, well, there are some weird people out there. But it's it caught us by surprise, I must say. Nobody else here, when we were doing it, my project manager, Vanessa, the online editor, the color grader, even the sound people were going, it's a great show. We're enjoying it. I don't know if anybody else is going to enjoy it. And then it started, and we would send each other clips going, have you seen this? Oh my God. And after episode 5, I was talking about that. When I got the clip, somebody sent me the clip of a sports bar, I believe in Toronto, where they're showing, the clip is basically Kip getting on the ice with Scott. Mm-hmm. The reaction from Shane and Ilya, and I'm coming to the cottage.
Yeah.
And like people were cheering, like we won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
What is going on? And although I'm saying it, I was emotional watching it because oh my God, it's crazy. At the same time, I'm going, there's a lot of people who are enjoying this. And then it just caught on and on and on and on. And then we started seeing the boys all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And Hudson giving his fleece to the Prime Minister of Canada. It's like, what is going on? And seeing Jacob being interviewed and Connor and Hudson is amazing in interviews. And Francois and it just became it became a worldwide phenomenon. Mm-hmm. And we're just thinking like it was. I was just wondering if we did the VFX for that shot. So it really caught us by surprise. I can say us, seriously. It caught us by surprise. We were delighted. Obviously, we spent a lot of hours working on the show. We like it. We enjoy it. But I've enjoyed working on other stuff that nobody saw or and didn't have the same impact. So having this, because I worked on Big Little Lies, mm-hmm. and there was a sense that Big Little Lies was going to be special right away. Mm-hmm. But we had a cast like incredible cast.
The cast.
The girls, like the 5 women, and Alexander was just like, Jesus Christ. We have Nicole Kidman, Reese Witherspoon. Like, of course, it's going to be special.
Yeah.
If we screw up, maybe just a few million people will watch it. Like, we didn't screw up. Oh my God, we didn't screw up. But Jean-Marc didn't screw up. But there was a sense of, yeah, of course, people are going to watch it. Heated Rivalry. Jacob is a great guy. He did Letterkenny. He did Shorzy. He did all sorts of stuff. Smart guy, great director. Yeah, the quality is going to be there. But we have no stars.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all
We went in,
unknowns.
but François and Sophie are well known. François because of a few series he did, and Sophie because of what's the name
Yellow
of that?
Jackets.
The Yellow Jacket, yeah.
Yeah.
But Hudson and Connor, although Connor was the Joker, he was,
Still a
Yeah.
small role, yeah.
Yeah.
he was supposed to be the Joker,
Yeah.
and I can see it. But it didn't catch up. So, well, yeah, we're just happy that it worked out.
As you should be.
Yes, I'm just laughing at myself because I met with Connor in LA in October, before it was
Before he
premiered
became,
and all that.
yeah.
Before they
And-
were untouchable.
Yeah. And I gave him one of these jackets, and I said, when my uncle wore his TV jacket, people would recognize him.
Oh my God.
But if he didn't wear the jacket, they didn't know who he was. So I said, so maybe if you wear the jacket, people will recognize you.
No, don't need
I don't
that.
think he has to wear the jacket.
No.
No.
But it was an Ottawa Centaur.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's going to know yet.
No,
It was-
nobody's going to know
yeah.
yet. But I'm just
It's
laughing
funny.
at myself thinking that and telling him that because, of course, everybody knows
But
who
they
Connor
were-
Story is.
It's funny because who was mentioning that? Security budget. Somebody was mentioning the security budget. I can't remember who. For the first season 1, the guys could walk from their hotel to set or bike or what the hell
Right.
they were doing. They could go to restaurants. They could do anything. Nobody knew. They were just like really good-looking young men. Francois could get recognized a little more. I can understand. Robbie, I don't think he was that well known before. And now we have to beef up. We're going to have to
Security
beef up
budget.
security.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
been wondering
Yeah.
about how that's going to go with
Because
protecting them
there's-
from crazy fans.
Yeah.
And I guess it's something that comes with fame. And I guess this is something that Hudson and Connor and they now have to consider is
Right.
there are people around that may not be that friendly or just going to be paparazzis. And so I guess security is going to be an issue.
Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna need a bigger budget for security for season 2.
Yeah. I hope it doesn't come out of my post-production budget.
Not out of your budget.
They'll take it off Jacob's. Yeah, it took a while before we got into the sense of this is an amazing project. And to me, as I was saying, it was that evening at Concordia a week before where the precise moment, I can tell you, I could feel a buzz, because people were wearing jackets with Hollander written in the back. I went, what the what the hell? How come they know? Because of the book. But and jerseys and it's just like, oh my God, people were but the feeling in the room was sheer joy.
Yes.
And and I couldn't talk. So we go in. I meet the friends with the jacket, Louisa, who was amazing. She was super nice. And I couldn't talk to her because I had no voice. But we're like, and when the boys came in to sit down, like cheering and
Yes.
like ovation and everything, go, okay, we haven't seen it yet. Okay. And Francois and Rachel was like extending ovation. It was crazy. So they walk, and Jacob and Brendan, and they sit down, and we start screening. And in episode 1, there's a moment. There's the All-Star game. So at one point we have Shane and Ilya on the screen because Ilya's going to go and Shane's going to go. And in the top corner pops up Scott Hunter and his time.
Yes.
And people went nuts. It's a small picture that is of like a secret. It was like, and people just started screaming. I'm going, what is going on? It's, to me, it's a superimposed image that we did in online. It has no emotional connection to anything. And I'm looking at, I'm just hearing people going crazy, and the girls that were beside me, they were all excited, and I went, well, wait when they see episode 3, they're going, who's freaking mind?
We were looking for anything, yeah. There were
And then we
things,
saw, and then we see Francois. Well, Scott. I'm sorry,
right.
because he just leans in the shot accuracy thing. He goes, good thing you screwed up his. He only held the record for like 7 seconds or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as soon as he popped on the screen, like people are cheering again. I go. It was an eye opener. It was
Yeah.
truly an eye. And the next day, because that was on a Sunday night, the next day we were still working. I think episode 3 was delivered. I think we were delivering episode 4.
Wow.
We were like not even 10 days before.
I heard some
right.
of this, that you were still editing the show when it premiered.
We were the editing. All
the
editing
editing
was
was done.
when we were
Post-production.
finishing post production, but and we had to provide a French dub. So the people doing the French dub were
wow.
losing their mind. I think the French dub was delivered like 4 days before broadcast.
Oh my God.
Well, one of the things that happened is that originally we were supposed to broadcast later, and Crave were so in love when they started seeing the show. They said, "This is amazing," and said, "Okay, we're going to do 1 and 2 on November 28th, and then episode 3, 4, 5, and 6. Episode 6 is going to end up the day after Christmas, I think."
Yes. Oh my God.
You know.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
I think, but it cut down the post-production time because I was supposed to deliver later. But in retrospect, once we gained back all the hours of sleep we lost, we were doing crazy weeks. But by the time when it was happening and the reaction, I think it was an amazing strategy. I think Crave had a vision for this. And thank God they believed in it.
Yes.
Then the
Thank
whole
you, Greg.
world, the whole world. I think HBO Australia said we won the show, and it was day and date, so they started broadcasting the same day as us, but 12 hours before.
Right.
But it was all these, and then the momentum, and then HBO Max, and the world. So, for us, it was, we just want to deliver before we die of exhaustion, and that was it. But for somebody like Jacob, went through the script, doing the casting, doing the directing, and show. He was our showrunner as well, being involved in every aspect, the music, selecting songs in French.
Yes.
It was a bold move. selecting and having Peter as our composer, who had never done this before and who was nervous, and he delivered a wonderful score.
It's amazing.
And it's going to be released on vinyl. I saw Peter a couple of days ago. We're talking about this, and it's going to pre-order is soon. I need to pre-order it now. But it was just all these elements, and then the reaction and everything, and it took me, and I think it took us here a while to just breathe and just say, okay, this is it. But my God, it was amazing.
It really was.
I'm coming to the cottage.
We're going to use
by the
that
way,
as our
there's-
teaser clip right there.
There is something. No, I'm telling it. No, it doesn't matter. Episode 6 in the credits. When you get to post production, because we're the last one working on the show.
Yeah.
It was late. We were working on the end credits, and Vanessa, my project manager, we were doing the credits, and she goes, maybe we should do something. So I said, okay, because I'm willing to do anything. So her name, if you look at the credits, her name is Vanessa Boivin, SCWB. There's an acronym outside, and it's Stupid and Wolfbird.
Oh my God!
Our online editor, Eric Lausier, became Eric Loon Lausier. And just gonna
and you've got Anne's gonna find this and put this in.
For me, it's WDEK. Yeah, WDEK. Can you figure it out? Because every time, well, not every time, but a lot of time, when I would leave the room to go to the bathroom or get something, I would text the editor, the online editor, Eric. We didn't even kiss.
Oh, no! Oh my God!
It started as a joke.
Yes.
And then we're doing the thing and I go, I'm doing WDEK.
Oh wow! That is so cool.
Nobody
I've
came
never seen
back.
anyone notice that.
But it's a good thing. Thing is, I hope it doesn't get me in trouble. Because, like, Brendan's, I don't know if Brendan saw it. Because Brendan would provide me with all the templates for the credit scenes, and we would kind of put it together and create cards to put on the screen. And the idea was for episode 6, we would put as many people as possible. Mm-hmm. There was this road shot of Shane and Ilya driving. And the idea was like, let's put everybody. A lot of people worked hard. It's going to be their time. So the end credits are much longer for episode 6. And it's got a beautiful song on it. And it's just like, so it's a really nice moment. And we screwed it up by putting a joke in it.
I think that's it's like a nod to the show, and I think that's really sweet.
It was. But it's just that we were tired. We were doing 75 to 80 hours a week.
Oh my God.
We could barely speak. I lost my voice. We could barely speak. Our brains were done.
Yeah.
So you're looking at the final credits and go, it'd be fun. And you do it. And then you realize that, oh my God, like the world saw it.
I don't think anyone has noticed this.
I've not.
People will see, but they don't know.
Yeah, they don't know. Because people have analyzed every single moment of the show. And I have not seen this.
No. I got early in I think it was back in early January, I got the editor for episode 1, Arthur sent me a screen grab of a text. Somebody saying that we screwed up in the scene where Ilya is in the elevator. The doors open and it's Yuna.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's
And
a
he goes,
14
"Oh,
address.
are you going? Oh, I'm going down. I'm going up. I'm going down. Oh, and the door closes. And and Ilya is just like, ugh. And somebody noticed that we screwed up because the floor on the elevator little screen doesn't match a door that you can barely see in the back.
Yeah.
And and the editor said, "Oh, you missed that." And I'm, everybody missed that.
Who sees this?
But yeah, it's one of the it's we missed it. But actually, it's funny because I have a high res version. I have a high res version of the scene, and I had to zoom on my computer. I had to zoom in and go, oh yeah, okay. And then I go, but somebody watching the show, there's no way you can like. All in all, yeah, it's some people have noticed things. Noticed that we have the same guy in the background, like many shot. It's it's the nature of having a let's say a normal budget.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not doing Dune.
Yeah.
No. No.
This is not due.
No.
It's funny. When I was one day I was recently I had the pleasure of talking with Tanya Lapointe, Denis Villeneuve's wife, and all I wanted to say was like, your catering budget is higher on Dune is higher than the budget for many feature films I've run into. It's such a different thing, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so we there's a couple of jokes that we let happen.
I think that's fair. I think you deserve that.